right. For the record, can you state your name?
I certainly can. Nelson Valdez, more affectionately known as Nelly in the baseball diamond. Graduated in 1977. Was part of two state championship teams, 1974 and 76.
Okay. Nelson, tell me a little bit what it is. What are you doing now?
What am I? I've been in the automotive industry for 28 years. Going to be 29 years here in a second. Servicing, selling cars, helping people reestablish credit, like that.
Can you share with us your fondest memory of playing under Coach Mulry?
The fondest? There was many. I guess the fondest was that 76 team that went 36-4 and finally winning the state championship after getting rained out in 75 in the bottom of the seventh inning with the bases loaded and no outs.
Okay. Tell me, what are some of the life lessons that you've learned from playing under Coach Mulry?
There's many of them. I can use a ton of adjectives, but you know, I think the most important thing that I take with me, being in the sales industry for so long, was to build a nucleus, a foundation of a good ball club or a good company, for that matter. You have to have a leader to start with. You have to have the talent, which obviously he had talent, but you have to have a leader that gets people to buy into a philosophy of teamwork that creates success. And if you get a group of people in any, whether it's business or whether it's a ball club, to buy into the philosophy and work toward that common goal, then you got to let them go do their thing. And when they go do their thing, you be supportive. And I think that's what I took out of there the best. There was no individual that was better than the team. Even though there were players that were better than others, everyone gave the same amount of hard work, of team spirit, of brotherhood, of togetherness to get to that common goal, which is win the state championship. And that's what I take out of it.
Okay. How are some of the life lessons that you've learned being reflected in the development and nurturing of your children?
Exactly the same thing. I mean, you obviously have to, and we don't always do it. That's why you lose in sports, and sometimes you lose in life. But you got to set that good example for your children as a parent, and then give them the tools to succeed that they need, and then you got to let them go. You can't over-parent or over-manage, and that's what I try to do with my kids, and I have a great relationship with both of them.
There's a term in the book called common threads. How do you identify the term common threads that is reflected in the book?
It's just like you're bringing a bunch of different personalities to believe into one philosophy. And the common thread is that everybody believes in it. Everybody buys into the same program. Same thing you do with your kids. You can't have one grow up washing the dishes and the other throwing out the garbage and not changing them, because you make everybody believe the same thing.
Okay. If there was one thing that you'd like to let Coach Mulry know about the impact that he had on your life, what would it be?
One thing that he had impact on me. Thank you for taking me off the streets. No, I'm kidding. Just being there when we needed him the most. You know, I remember I didn't lose a game personally until my senior year in high school, and we were 21-0 and playing against a team that was 0-11, and this kid was, I don't know, 5'6", 75 pounds, soaking wet, and beat us 2-1, and I took the loss in relief. And it was down in Miami. It was Coach Shula, Don Shula's son, that was pitching, and we went to McDonald's after the game, and I'm sitting there crying my eyeballs out. I never cried on a baseball field my entire life. And he walks over to me and says, "What's the matter?" You know, and I said, "Well, I lost." He goes, "Well, no, you didn't, son. We lost." And he says, "I'm going to tell you a story, and you can choose to believe it or not, but I've met many 15-year-old men and many 50-year-old boys. Today you have an opportunity to be a 16-year-old man." Turned around and walked away. So things like that is what I take and I appreciate and I think about all the time.
All right. You know, it's no surprise to me that Coach Mulry's principles, he lives by them as well. You know, he really is successful at everything that he does, because I believe he buys into his own program.
Well, most definitely. He's compassionate about it, and he believes into it, and he did the same thing with us. I mean, he was and he has talent in the real estate business. I was down there at the people he has, but it's kind of like they're magnets toward him. You know what I mean? It was like us. We bought into his philosophy, and I tell you what, any guy on any one of our teams could have starred and been a superstar at any other high school. And Rini Zarat, for instance, chose to hit 7. He could have hit anywhere, playing for Jefferson, Hillsborough. A lot of guys like that, that chose to take a a back seat, if you will, for the purpose of the greater program. And that's what he brings to the table.
Okay. Well, Nelson Valdez, thank you for being here today, and we hope that you're going to be at the book signing as well.
Absolutely.
And we're looking forward to having people come and meet you personally.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.